Yo, what up? How y'all doing out there? So, it's Tory Lanez album. I didn't know what to say about it at first. When I heard it, you know what I mean? I was thinking of the first album where I wasn't really fucking with it. I wasn't feeling it, you know what I mean? Rather, he just sounded like somebody else, or maybe it was the skits. Maybe I just don't really enjoy a lot of so-called rappers doing R&B music. That's no knock to anybody else that does both rap and R&B, but I was more on the lines of becoming a fan of his from his mixtape series. Notably, the last one he did with DJ Drama, then the New Toronto, and then New Toronto 2. So when he was coming out with an album, I was like, okay, I'm gonna check it out. I wasn't impressed. Going into this album, I was thinking, okay, the cover looks kind of weird. It's like a knockoff Weekend's vibe, if y'all remember back in the day with the Weekend mixtapes. And so I go into it not knowing what to expect. And I walked away with it and I'm like, okay, honestly, it sounds like a mixtape. The production has good moments sometimes, here and there. I mean, it's not perfect. He still has that notable Drake sound. Excuse me. And I just feel like a lot of things he brags about, it's not bringing anything new to the table, because I swear I heard most of the stuff he's bragging about in his mixtapes. The feature wise, I wasn't impressed. Other than the 50 Cent feature, and I was like, okay, he gonna use 50 in the right way, and it's like, he didn't. Kind of too many songs, 18 songs. I mean, Jesus, you could have kept it at maybe 12 to 14. You know what I mean? Or 10, that would have been better. And I hate the half and half songs when they don't have nothing to do with each other, in a sense, other than maybe one or two tracks. But I just feel like you just throwing in more music and you couldn't really make the final cut perfect. You know what I mean? But other than that, it was a solid piece of work. Already, I'm gonna get it out the way. I only like 10 of the songs, and the R&B songs I wasn't fucking with. So that's track 4, 5, 7, 8, 12, 11, 16. Listen to them, but just it wasn't for me. Couple things that stood out. I had no idea Tory Lanez mom was no longer living. You know what I mean? So I know that was kind of heartbreaking to hear. Like, damn, I wouldn't know what to do if my mom wasn't here no more. So that instantly ending the album stood out to me, like, oh shit, like that caught me off guard. You know what I mean? And it goes into the Tell Me record, and he just basically just wants you to like tell me however you feel. I really don't care at this point. And then it goes into the last track, which is Don't Die, his life story before becoming successful. So the end of the album is more like his story, and I was like, well, why he didn't go in this route for the entire body of work? Because it opened up the album with Memories, and it's a quick excerpt, basically about him speaking about memories and everything, which they really don't. They will stay with you forever. And it goes into old friends / new foes. And I feel like the first half wasn't needed. The second half definitely was fire. Shooters was a song where I feel like the visual don't fit the song itself, and the hook is repetitive as hell. The video was alright, like I said. The beat was dope, and I noticed a lot of these songs that he's doing, it's like, okay, why is he taking one line and doing that shit over and over and over and over? Like, what's really the difference between this and mumble rap? So it gets to track 6, and I like the beat switch up. I like that he used a song cry like sample or whatever, and he's talking about an incident that happened in his life, which I had no clue that actually happened. Like I said, I don't really follow him like that, and I thought that was pretty dope. Then we get into Hate to Say, and this is when I knew I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy this album. I had no recollection that he had a beef with Travis Scott. That shit was kind of like, okay, I'm not gonna say he's talking about this for clout reasons, because it's probably a situation that probably been in the press. I just don't follow him like that. The notable shot at Chris Brown and Playboy Cardi was hella funny, because I do agree that Playboy Cardi shit was bullshit. It's like, come on, bro, that ain't makes. Niggas been doing freestyles and remixes to songs, not just him but artists period, for years. Like, knock it off. And then the thing about Drake, I was like, I still don't believe that's even real. Bust It Down, it's catchy. And this where I was like, okay, this starting to get repetitive. Like, okay, like what bust it down, bust it. I was like, nah, that's not really, for me. But it's catchy, so you fuck with it. BBWW Fake Show. First half yet again was hard. Second half melodic. Is kind of about a girl in a sense. And then we get to the 50 Cent record where I love the storytelling. And this where I'm like, why he just didn't do the whole album like this story wise? Like the girl in the beginning basically was abused. By the second half, guy's dad, which makes her the cousin, and he ended up killing his mom. I just thought that whole little story was like, okay, where's he going with this? Is he gonna end it right? And I had to listen because I didn't want to not listen carefully and then come down here and say some crazy shit. The whole song is one story, which I like how he talked about the first verse go to the second verse, and how even 50 Cent was like, okay, he liked what he was saying about this song. I thought that was dope. And then, like I said, Happiness and Don't Die, love those records. But overall, it's not a perfect album, but it's just something to feel like, your mixtape shouldn't sound better than your albums. And I wish that artists would get people in there to A&R their project, because if he could have made records like the second half of his album all the way through, classic. I feel like with this body of work, he didn't really need a quote unquote commercial hit. But I guess the songs that I didn't like, some would say those are like more commercial. But with an album like this and the day and age of music we in, I don't feel like you need a commercial hit, because nowadays they make anything that's popular blow up. But I mean, it was a good album. I definitely feel like it was a solid 8 overall. But there's a couple more things Tory needs to work on before his third album. Maybe I'll speak on that at a later date. But it was solid enough for me to buy, and that's crazy because most artists, when you enter their music probably with their first album, and you go from there. But I kind of entered with his second album, so I'm definitely want to see where he's gonna go from here on out. But that's just what I thought about Tory Lanez Memories Don't Die. Y'all let me know what y'all thought. I'm out.